Welcome to Crypto Instincts. This is going to be a video series for crypto investing tips. But to start off, we should have a basic understanding of what cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, blockchain, and some of these terms are. So this will be a very simple breakdown, not going too deep into technical aspects, staying more on the big picture to give you a quick introduction to some of the key terms and concepts to understand before you dive in. There are many different topics that I found that can be explained in much more elegant ways than I can. So if you're really new to the world of crypto, I highly recommend you to check out this video's description box. I will share links to each of these different topics in the description box from other YouTube channels that I like. Each video that I'm recommending will be explained very simply and has better production value than I can deliver for you at this stage when I'm just starting out. Plus, they're all super short and very to the point. Really recommend it if you feel that I've rushed through any of these topics in this video and wanted to dig further into them yourself. I definitely aim to provide more production value as I go. For now, I really wanted to make sure the ideas and tips that I'm sharing with you guys is actually valuable, is actually helpful. As I keep learning and growing, along with you guys' support, it will definitely motivate me to keep providing these tips and improve on the production value I'm delivering. So before you go off clicking on those other video links, let me give you a quick overview. This probably brings back a lot of pain. I hate to remind you of the emotional times, but it is a must in order to understand the emotions that are tied to this technology wave. I won't get too deep back into what happened in 2008. Most of us already know. And if you don't, I don't quite have a link for this, but make sure you check out the movie The Big Short. That pretty much sums it up, and it will leave you with a gut-wrenching feeling, but it will give you everything you need to know. I mean, pretty well summed up. And the reason I'm bringing this up is a key factor to understand is the emotions behind this movement, is the trust that was lost from the average people like you and me, the 99% as clearly depicted here. The Occupy Wall Street protest. What does all this mean? Nothing really came out of it, but something important did, and this is when Bitcoin started. Back in 2008, 2009, this is when we were first introduced to Bitcoin and the white paper that was written by Satoshi Nakamoto, who is still a very controversial figure. His identity, or their identities if they were working as a team on this project, still remains clouded in mystery. I don't have a personal take on it, but what has inspired me was the idea that a person can change the world from a selfless act. To give you a real brief history, cryptocurrency, it wasn't really called cryptocurrency back in the 90s, but in the early 90s this was already discussed, and there was a problem facing this, was the problem of double spending. And his white paper was really just an elegant solution that solves that problem by empowering people, meaning other nodes that can solve a problem that a single entity couldn't. And from this, you see the evolution of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space since the white paper. It has inspired millions of people, along with some of the world's smartest and most talented, all working together to build this industry from the ground up. It has shown me a brighter future, and one that I want to contribute to help build and grow. I'm most definitely not alone in this. As you can see from the title, recent studies and surveys have shown millennials from all over the world are passionate about crypto and the possible future it can bring. The faith has been lost from the traditional industries and financial markets. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're already extinct, but I'd rather invest in something, even if traditional investors may consider risky or speculative, compared to investing into the past, which I no longer really want to see repeat itself. There are many logical reasons to invest in crypto, just like I will still invest in traditional markets when the risk and reward ratio actually makes sense. This isn't all emotional driven decisions. But I'm just trying to show you, in order to understand the magnitude of this movement, it is combined with a new technology advancement wave along with the ideological hopes and dreams of the future generation. This is what got me interested in Bitcoin and crypto. Before I even had a chance to read the white paper, how it started was I love exploring different ways to build up residual income. And when a friend started mining Bitcoin and sharing how everything worked, that's when I really started diving deeper into the world of crypto to try to understand all the different aspects. But it was mining that really first piqued my interest. Mining is just a simple way of using computing power to verify transactions on the blockchain. Back in the days, most computers would be able to mine using just normal video cards. Now, gaming video cards made it even better. And as things got more advanced, it came to a point where dedicated equipment like ASIC miners were produced. And from that, mining farms became a thing. And along with that, cloud mining. I won't get too deep into cloud mining. It's a discussion all on its own. Basically, it's a company or entity that will offer their hashing power to mine for you, if you pay them a fee, of course. You'll get anything mined from that pool that you paid for over the duration of the mining contract. Now, if I were to suggest anything, I would still suggest try to do it yourself. There are plenty of tutorial videos like this one I'm showing you here, and I will have them linked in the description box, on how you can build mining rigs on your own. It can seem a little bit complex, but for the more hands-on type, you can get this done and possibly make residual income. Now, the residual income part sounds great, but over the years, the difficulty level and the cost of electricity in order to mine portions of a Bitcoin or a whole Bitcoin is going to take a lot longer. There's some numbers that goes into this. If you're going to dive deeper into mining, you'll have to wrap your head around like electricity for your region, for the hashing powers needed compared to the Bitcoin mining difficulty level, which is always increasing, as you can see. So I'll leave some of these links for you to explore. This is just an introductory understanding of how mining can be done and what the different aspects to take into consideration before you dive into just deciding I'm going to mine. This is where I will need some help from other people's great work. So I won't get into too fine of details on how blockchain works and all the different consensus algorithms out there. Please check out the video links in the description box. It will have very nice and short video explanations on how all these things work. The main thing I will try to provide is how all these things work together without getting too far down the rabbit hole of trying to explain the technology behind it. It can be very dry and not for everyone. So having the basic understanding of how it works is very important, but there's no need to overwhelm yourself with the details of the technology aspect of it unless you're really interested. The videos and articles I'm sharing are super short and explains it really well. The key points to understand the different ways protocols work. It depends on your participation. So I was mentioning how this technology is very empowering, which requires our participation in order to work. So POW, as you will see often, or proof of work, is mining, as I was explaining earlier. You are verifying transactions on the blockchain, so you are rewarded for your work. POS, or proof of stake, is your possession of the coin. Owning nodes on the blockchain will help the flow of transactions in the network, and you are rewarded in dividends. The finite amount of Bitcoin that will ever exist, same as many of these other projects, along with the open source technology where anyone with coding experience, coding background, can go and check out the algorithms and see clearly how it works. This is what sets crypto apart from any of the tulip mania comparison. But I'm going to digress. This can be a very heated topic for anyone that is still on the fence or skeptical of the cryptocurrency market. There are new and developing technology using different consensus algorithms out there. You will hear and learn more about these as you explore further into the world of crypto. And this is the game changer. This is where crypto went from the digital currency space to a decentralized platform industry. Smart contracts. This word came a lot later than Bitcoin and crypto even. Smart contracts first came about maybe early 2017. Ethereum, Neo, and now there are many other platforms that offer smart contracts. It basically provides a way for programmers to build decentralized applications on a platform like Ethereum or Neo. Decentralized being the key term here, as you will almost have to have an understanding of the decentralized concept in order to understand what each of these projects are trying to achieve and the different industries they are aiming to disrupt. An easy way to mental picture this is using an analogy from real life, something that we've become more used to. While this type of business model is still very new to our collective consciousness, but decentralized business model will have very similar traits and aspects to how Uber, Airbnb, and Alibaba all work. These companies provide the structure, but it is the user and the communities that really drive the market. This can sound very exciting. Let's decentralize everything. But be cautious. There are some things in this world that doesn't need to be decentralized. And always try to stick with what you know well. Like with any type of investing in what you know and understand will save you from a lot of the pitfalls. I try to look at as many different perspectives as I can. Try to cover all bases. I have to acknowledge the potential downside to crypto. We are still in the very early stages of this technology wave. It is a type of technology that threatens traditional structures. Banks hate it, and there are some countries with powers that be will not be very welcoming of crypto with open arms. Regulations will be a continued huge factor in how things progress. There are some powerful people and current industries that will fight this to the bitter end, and it will be a long and dragged out battle. It will likely shake up the markets as they unfold. Or we could be surprised in the most pleasant ways when things like this come out of the SEC and CFTC meetings. FUD articles will always come from the media, causing fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what FUD means. It will be everywhere. As much as we should all know how the media machine works, the market and prices will be impacted by this. So it's something to be very mindful of. And in case you don't know what I'm talking about with the media, just putting in a small joke here, but check this out. This is Bitcoin obituaries, the number of times that Bitcoin has died, according to the media. It's something to be mindful of, like I said. I'll put this in a link in the description box as well. Another concern in the world of cryptocurrency is the safety of infrastructure, like exchanges and these complicated wallets. We have been through few exchange hacks in the recent years. They're smaller in scale, only affect the segregated parts of the exchange, but it's still an issue. Though not as big or as impactful as the one that happened back in 2014 when Mt. Gox, which was the main crypto exchange back in those times, it was hacked and almost crippled the crypto market for nearly 2 years. We have seen much improvement on security over the recent years and have some hopes with projects that will be launching actual products that begin to solve this problem and the fear of security. It should naturally become less of an issue as technology advances. As of the time of this video, we are not quite there yet, so this is a very legitimate concern still. What makes me less worried is when I think about what our money is actually worth. There's a lot to be said on this, and I don't want to make myself sad. So the risk and reward factor when weighing these two options between fiat money and crypto, it isn't such a tough decision. Or this risk to reward ratio, traditional markets. This is the Dow Jones. It has been an amazing 9-year run. But knowing a little bit about market cycles can tell you we are probably near the end of a cycle. The potential reward compared to the downside risk, at least at this time, just doesn't really make sense to budge me from my spot in crypto. This doesn't mean I won't be back into the traditional markets once everything falls, so I can pick up on some bargain deals. But generally speaking, even if you were to compare the potential growth looking at history, let's just look at the biggest run you can get into in the recent memory in the traditional markets, measure that ratio to the potential gain from a crypto bull market. Even that, without considering the downside to the traditional markets, that in itself should be enticing enough. Adoption. This is the key word that everyone in the industry will be paying very close attention to over the coming years. The people on the fence or even the full skeptics of crypto will always point to value as the reason why it's a hype bubble. I think as we see more and more of the underdeveloped countries from Africa and South Asia adopt Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the greater good of this technology will become more visible even to the skeptics. Once upon a time, people didn't know how Facebook was going to make money. It didn't charge any fees to users. How can it grow to become $1 billion company? In hindsight, everything makes perfect sense. In a new technology wave, the answer lies in what value it brings to the world. Then valuation of revenue and income will naturally come out of that. And to finish it off, some of the more funnier terminologies to know in the world of crypto. This was a pretty short summary, right? If you wanted to dig further into the technology aspect of it, make sure to check out the links in the description box. Having this basic understanding of how blockchain works and decentralized application, otherwise known as dApps, it will make it much easier to wrap your head around what all the different projects are trying to achieve, which markets are trying to disrupt. So the rest of this series will be really focused on how to navigate the market, the different investment tips and different approaches to consider. Hope you like this short overview. Please make sure to show some support and like the video, give me the thumbs up. I have so much more on the way. We'll try to share all that I've learned and condense it into applicable tips for you to take as part of your arsenal. Please make sure to subscribe and get all the updates and tips as well. See you soon.